Imagine this. You wake up because someone is shouting at you, not your name, an insult. You open your eyes. A man stands in front of you, red-faced, furious, pointing his finger like you have just robbed him. But you have not touched his money. You asked him a question, that is all. One question. And somehow it has ruined his morning. People are gathering now. Some are laughing, some are whispering. Some are waiting to see whether he will hit you. You look down. Your clothes are plain. Your feet are dusty. You are not dressed like a rich man. You are not protected like a politician. You are not young enough to be harmless. And yet everyone is watching you as if you are the dangerous one. The man shouts again. He says you twist words. He says you confuse young men. He says people like you are destroying the city. You should walk away. But instead, you tilt your head and ask him another question. The crowd goes quiet because they know what happens next. You do not attack men with weapons. You do something worse. You let them speak until their own words betray them. You walk through the city slowly, watching faces, listening to words, waiting for certainty. Because certainty interests you, not when it is strong, when it is false. A man says he understands justice. So you ask him, what is justice? He answers quickly. Too quickly. You ask another question, then another. And soon the man who began with confidence is trapped inside his own words. He grows angry. People watching begin to smile, some laugh, some become uncomfortable. Because you are not teaching in the usual way. You do not stand above people and pour wisdom into them. You pull wisdom out by force. Question by question. Contradiction by contradiction. Silence by silence. You do not write any of it down. Not because you have nothing to say. Because you do not trust dead words. A written sentence cannot defend itself. It cannot answer back. It cannot blush. It cannot be corrected. It cannot look a man in the eyes and force him to discover that he has been pretending to know. To you, real thought must be alive. It must move between two people. It must be tested, challenged, remembered. You believe memory grows stronger when it carries truth inside the soul, not on a piece of parchment. So you speak, again and again, in the marketplace, in the gymnasium, in workshops, in doorways, in the shade of columns. You speak to soldiers about courage, to politicians about justice, to poets about inspiration, to young men about virtue, to anyone who thinks he knows what he has never truly examined. And this makes you famous. Not rich, famous. There is a difference. You do not build a school. You do not sell secret knowledge. You do not promise success. You ask questions, and somehow that becomes more dangerous than giving answers. The young begin to follow you. They enjoy watching powerful men lose control of their own arguments. They enjoy seeing pride stripped naked in public. Some admire you, some imitate you. Some misunderstand you completely. Older men begin to whisper, "This man is dangerous. He makes the young disrespect authority. He makes tradition look foolish. He does not honor the gods properly. He turns certainty into smoke." But you do not see yourself as a destroyer. You see the city as something huge, strong and half asleep. A noble animal, heavy with pride, and you are the small biting thing sent to wake it up. Annoying, necessary, impossible to ignore. You are not soft. You have stood in armor. You have felt fear move through a line of men. You have seen how quickly beautiful speeches disappear when shields begin to break. The city finally finds a way to answer your questions, not with a better argument, with a trial. You are in Athens. The year is 399 BC. And the most talkative city in the world is about to execute a man for asking too many questions. They accuse you of corrupting the young, but everyone understands the deeper crime. You made important men look foolish in front of their sons. You made confidence look like ignorance. You made the city hear the hollow sound inside its own wisdom. Now they want you to become small. Beg. Apologize. Bring your children forward. Cry. Promise to stop. Choose exile. Say anything that proves they still have power over you. But you do not. You stand there almost calmly. And instead of begging for your life, you do the one thing they cannot forgive. You keep questioning. You tell them that if they let you go, you will not stop. You tell them that a life without examination is not worth living. And then, after they condemn you, you make the trial even worse for them. Because when they ask what punishment you deserve, you do not collapse. You almost mock the entire court. You suggest that a man like you deserves to be fed by the city, like an Olympic victor, not punished. Honored? That is the moment when they understand. They can kill you, but they cannot make you kneel. Later, your friends offer escape. The door is not as closed as it seems. You could leave, you could live, you could become an old man telling stories in another city, but that would make your life smaller than your words. So you stay. Not because death is beautiful, but because contradiction is uglier. You spent your life asking people what justice is. Now you refuse to survive by betraying your own answer. So you take the cup. And Athens wins the trial, but loses the story. Because from that moment on, the city is remembered not for silencing a criminal, but for fearing a question. You wrote no books, not one. But your students wrote you into the memory of the world. Now you know. You are Socrates, the man who refused to write, refused to flatter, refused to escape, and turned his own death into the most famous argument he ever made.